Toxic accumulation, the buildup of harmful chemicals in our bodies over time. Toxic accumulation, the buildup of harmful synthetic chemicals in our bodies over time, is not just another headline, but the difference between life and death. Toxic accumulation is a serious problem that most people face today, and it can cause many harmful effects over time. Toxic chemicals are added to our food and water supplies, and they enter our bodies every day through consumption and skin contact. While it's impossible to avoid all toxins, there are some steps you can take to make sure your body stays as healthy as possible throughout your lifetime. But first, what are these toxins, and what exactly do they do to your body over time as they accumulate inside of you? Pesticides. There are thousands of different pesticides, and they are constantly sprayed on farmland, crops, parks, backyards, everywhere there are pests. And each pesticide causes serious illness, especially in those with a weakened or underdeveloped immune system. Long-term pesticide exposure has been linked to the development of Parkinson's disease, asthma, depression and anxiety, attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, and cancer, including leukemia and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And exposure includes consumption, too, of course. And every product on store shelves, and especially all the produce sold at the supermarket and health food stores, have all been exposed either indirectly or directly to pesticides. It's no wonder cases of cancer and Parkinson's are consistently on the rise. Herbicides. There are thousands of different herbicides, and they are all constantly sprayed on farmland, crops, parks, backyards, everywhere there are weeds. And each herbicide or glyphosate causes serious illness, especially in those with a weakened or underdeveloped immune system. Examples of acute health effects include stinging eyes, rashes, blisters, blindness, nausea, dizziness, diarrhea, and death. Examples of known chronic effects are cancers, birth defects, reproductive harm, immunotoxicity, neurological and developmental toxicity, and disruption of the endocrine system. Fungicides. Fungicides are pesticides that kill or prevent the growth of fungi and their spores. They can be used to control fungi that damage plants, including rusts, mildews, and blights. They might also be used to control mold and mildew in other settings. Fungicides work in a variety of ways, but most of them damage fungal cell membranes or interfere with energy production within fungal cells. What are the effects of ingesting fungicides and as it accumulates over your lifetime? From serious skin and eye irritations to, of course, cancer, thyroid diseases, and liver disease. GMOs. GMOs have been around since the 20th century, but just in the last 20 years, GMOs have infiltrated everything you eat, drink, and inject. And there has never been any long-term studies on the effects on animals, humans, or the environment, besides the ongoing guinea pig trials we are all living in today. Why did they create a GMO to begin with? For the simple fact that they can control your food. You see, during all of the 20th century, Big Pharma and Big AG struggled to find ways to control the food supply, because then they can control our health. But until GMO technology was discovered, all they could do is rely on nature, and you cannot patent nature. So, eventually they realized that they could tweak the DNA in plants, thereby making them patentable, and GMOs were born. What have been the consequences of ingesting GMOs? Most of the diseases and conditions associated with a Western diet, which include gastrointestinal disorders, obesity, diabetes, heart disease, depression, autism, infertility, cancer, and Alzheimer's disease. The documented effects of glyphosate and its ability to induce disease, and glyphosate is the textbook example of exogenous semiotic entropy, the disruption of homeostasis by environmental toxins. Genetically modified organisms, GMOs, were first introduced into the food supply in 1995. One of the primary genetically engineered, GE, traits is resistance to direct herbicide applications. As a result, there has been a huge increase in the amount of glyphosate applied to cotton, corn, canola, sugar beet, and soy crops grown in the U.S., corresponding to the rise in the percentage of these GE varieties planted. Since GMOs were introduced into the food supply, the rate of chronic health conditions among children in the United States increased from 12.8% in 1994 to 26.6% in 2006, particularly for asthma, obesity, and behavior and learning problems. The rate of chronic disease in the entire U.S. population has been dramatically increasing, with an estimated 25% of the U.S. population now suffering from multiple chronic diseases. Drugs. Drugs have become mainstream treatments for just about anything and everything that ails the body these days, despite the fact that drugs are utterly toxic and will ruin your health the longer you swallow or inject them. But why do the masses rely on drugs for everything? Because they do not know any better. There is a serious health illiteracy in this country, and Big Pharma has been diligently causing it for almost 2 centuries. The days of knowing which plants heal the body, how to stop pain holistically, and even how to repair damaged cells has been suppressed for over 3 generations now, which is why the current generation is the sickest generation ever. The masses have lost the ability to take care of their own health, which has created untold pain, suffering, and death. What exactly are drugs made from? Petroleum as the base. Then artificial chemicals are added to create the desired effect, which is either numbing pain, weakening your immune system, or both. And regardless of what you are told the drug will do, drugs can only either numb your pain or weaken your immune system. That's all drugs have ever been able to do. Is it any wonder why, after swallowing drugs for so long, either the chronic illness remains or is worse? Junk food. Junk food is everywhere, almost on every street corner. You cannot travel anywhere without seeing junk food and fast food everywhere. But junk food is not only on street corners, but also lines the millions of store shelves, convenience stores, school cafeterias, and of course, even hospital cafeterias. It's easy to understand why so many are sick these days. So few people understand just how toxic junk food and fast food is, and then will actually avoid them. The masses just eat junk food and fast every day without worrying about what happens to them later. We're exposed to so many toxins that it builds up over time. We accumulate a lifetime of pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, GMOs, drugs, and junk food that overloads our liver, heart, and kidneys and damages our metabolism. So, are you ready to finally start cleaning out a lifetime of toxic accumulation and restore the health you have fighting for all your life? Dr. Darren Wayne, aka the Food Guru, is one of the last food scientists not on Big Food's payroll, not on Big Pharma's payroll, and not on anyone's payroll, which means he has no agenda other than to tell you as much truth as possible before it's too late.